Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the football betting series here on YouTube Premier League edition. We're in a new setup in a new house, so there has been a delay or two to the channel. I'm aware the audio might not be amazing for today's video, but nevertheless I have 3 picks in February, and as we take a look at our overall record, we stand at 74 wins with 28 losses and 7 pushes, and a total series profit of £722.68. If you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. Our first pick sees 4th place Manchester United playing host to 14th place Tottenham Hotspurs, and Manchester United, they hosted Fulham in their last game. The Brazilians of Casemiro and Cunha put the Reds 2-0 up early in the second half, and it appeared that United were in control of the game and on track for a comfortable win. However, it wouldn't be like Manchester United to pick up a standard 2-0 win, and Raúl Jimenez managed to convert a penalty in the 85th minute to give Fulham a thread of hope going into the final stages. Then, in the first minute of stoppage time, it was Kevin that scored to level up the affair 2-2, with Manchester United throwing away a 2-goal lead. Then, just to keep the drama at its highest possible levels at the Theatre of Dreams, Šeško bagged a 94th minute winner as Bruno Fernandes found him in the box as he fired high past Leno in the dramatic 3-2 victory for Manchester United. In terms of form, that victory does mean it's 3 wins in a row for the Red Devils. They're also unbeaten in their last 7 Premier League games. When we filter by home form, we can see that they have not suffered a defeat in their last 6 Premier League matches. They host a Spurs side who played Manchester City in their last game, and it was the proverbial game of two halves as Ryan Cherki and Antoine Semenyo put City 2-0 up at the half-time break. When we take a look at the numbers, we can see that Spurs offered very little in the opening period. However, Dominic Solanke wasn't going to allow City to cruise to a routine victory. He scored twice in the 53rd and the 70th minute to level up the scores 2-2. And despite a Man City onslaught in the final 20 minutes of the game, Spurs managed to hold out for a really good point under the circumstances. In terms of form, it's now back-to-back 2-2 draws for Spurs against the second top and second bottom side in the division. Longer term, it's no win in 6 for Frank's side, and when we take a look at the away record, we can see that there's no win in their last 3 road games. Taking a look at the head-to-head record now, these sides last faced off back in November. And Mbeumo put Manchester United 1-0 up in the first half, and it would stay that way until the 84th minute before Matthias Tell bagged an equaliser for the Lily-Whites. Spurs would then go on to score in stoppage time thanks to Richarlison to complete the turnaround. However, sadly for the London side, they were unable to hold on to their lead, with Matthias de Ligt scoring the second equaliser of the game in the 96th minute for an honours-even 2-2 final score. Longer term, while Spurs would have been disappointed to have dropped the 2 points right there at the death, that draw did extend a 6-game unbeaten run in the Premier League over Manchester United, as well as an 8-game unbeaten run across all competitions, most notably last year's Europa League final. My prediction for today's game is that Manchester United have picked up form in recent weeks, and they're going to be gunning for their 4th victory in a row in the Premier League. There is some head-to-head form to suggest that Spurs do have Manchester United's number, but I can't trust either side so far this season, and that makes picking a team really difficult for me. I do feel that both sides have goals and defensive errors in them, so I will be looking at both teams to score. Manchester United have seen both teams to score in 5 of their last 6 Premier League games, and at home, this result has come in 4 of the last 6 matches. Whereas Spurs, they've seen both teams to score in each of their last 5 Premier League games, including each of the last 2 away matches. When we take a look at the head-to-head record, the both teams to score record is more patchy. Last encounter saw both sides register on the scoreboard, but only around half of the last 8 Premier League encounters have seen both teams to score. All of this taken into account, I still like both teams to score, and I'm going to back that for a full stake here in bet number 1. Our second selection sees top of the table Arsenal playing host to 8th place Sunderland, and Arsenal, they cruised to a 4-0 win against Leeds in their last match. Zubimendi, Madueke, Gyökeres and Jesus all got in on the action in a convincing win. Numbers-wise, Arsenal did only hold 50% of the ball, but they dominated Leeds in every other major win predictor statistic. Their XG of 2.19 does suggest perhaps that 4-0 was a bit harsh on Leeds. However, the Yorkshire club didn't offer that much in attack themselves, so I'm pretty confident that Leeds fans can't really complain about the loss. In terms of form, it's actually Arsenal's first win in their last 4 league games, as they've allowed their title rivals to make up a bit of ground on them. When we take a look at the home form, that's also a bit patchy, 1 win, 1 draw and 1 defeat in their last 3 matches at the Emirates. They host a Sunderland side who trounced Burnley in their last game on Monday night. Diarra, Taibi and Tuanzabe's own goal saw the scoreline finish 3-0. Number-wise, Sunderland generated around 20 times the XG of their visitors, who failed to really lay a glove on them. In terms of form, it's now 2 wins from the last 3 for the newly promoted side. However, on the road, there's no getting away from the no win in 7 stat, and it's not a very positive omen for the Black Cats in this one. When we take a look at the head-to-head records, the reverse fixture was a great day out for Sunderland fans. Big Dan Ballard put Sunderland 1-0 ahead in the first half, and just when hope was fading, with Saka and Trossard turning the scores on its head, Brian Brobby stepped up in the 94th minute to equalise for Sunderland and see the side split the points. However, numbers-wise, this game was all Arsenal, and Sunderland were very fortunate to have scored twice from just 0.44 XG created. My prediction for today's game is that both Arsenal and Sunderland are coming into this game on inconsistent form, something which may bolster either side when they look at their opponents. However, I'm not sure lightning will strike twice here for Sunderland, and I'm leaning towards Arsenal to win, so I'm going to back them for a win for a full stake here in bet number 2. Our third and final selection in today's episode sees bottom of the table Wolverhampton Wanderers playing host to 5th place Chelsea. And Wolves, they suffered a loss at the hands of Bournemouth in their last game. Krupi and Alex Scott were on the scoreboard in the 2-0 win for the Cherries, and numbers-wise, Wolves actually gave a decent account of themselves in this game. They actually won out on every major win predictor statistic, but alas, they couldn't get the ball past man of the match George Petrovic on their way to another loss. In terms of form, it's now back-to-back defeats for Wolves, and no win in their last 4 Premier League games now. What is perhaps more worryingly though, for the West Midlands side is that they have only scored a single goal over this period. When we filter by home form, we can see it's slightly improved, 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss in their last 3 matches at Molineux. However, longer term, just 1 win in 12 home games for Rob Edwards' side. They host a Chelsea side who left it late in their win against West Ham last time out. Bowen and Somerville had the Hammers 2-0 up at half-time, but it was the interval that allowed Chelsea to reset and Rossinha to think the game through. His substitutes made an impact, with João Pedro and Marc Cucurella dragging West Ham back to parity before Enzo Fernandez scored in the 92nd minute to snatch all 3 points at the death. After a slow start, it was Chelsea that turned the game around in what was a really good watch for the neutrals. In terms of form, that victory for Chelsea now means they have won each of their last 3 Premier League games, but on the road it's not quite as pretty. Just 1 win in their last 6 away matches is a worrying stat for a side chasing European football. When we take a look at the head-to-head record, the reverse fixture was a simple enough affair for Chelsea. Wolves managed to hold out in the first half, but they were unable to keep a clean sheet in the second period. Gusto, João Pedro and Pedro Neto scoring in the 3-0 win. Numbers-wise, it was nothing short of embarrassing for Wolves. They generated just 0.17 XG across the whole 90. Longer term, we can see that Chelsea have won each of the last 3 encounters by a margin of 12 goals to 3. My prediction for today's game is that it's quite an open and shut case for the Blues in this one. I will just be a tad cautious because of the poor away form, so whilst I am still interested in backing Chelsea, it will just be for a half stake here in bet number 3, the final bet of today's episode. So there we have it, 3 picks in today's episode, starting off with Manchester United versus Spurs in the early slot. We're backing both teams to score at odds of 1.66, a £50 full stake to return 33. Moving on to the 3 o'clocks now, we have Arsenal-Sunderland. I'm going to be backing the home side at odds of 1.24, a £50 full stake to return 12. And wrapping up today's episode, Wolves versus Chelsea. I'm going to be backing Chelsea at odds of 1.73, a half stake of £25 to return £18 and 25 pence. So, across the weekend, we're going to be risking £125 to hopefully pick up as much as £63 and 25 pence. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Don't forget to check out the continental picks in the pinned comment down below. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.